Hello, it's Bob, and I want to take this opportunity to talk to you about perceiving each of our children as whole, unique individuals. Every year, those working with children tend to break them into smaller and smaller pieces. And those with working with our children tend to have less and less of a perception of entirely who they are as unique individuals. One of the key factors in understanding a whole child is the parent. You know, the tragedy that parents are not more involved in the educational process is incredible. Right? The only people who know the whole child, or hopefully know the whole child, or know the most pieces of the child, are the parents. When we work with the children at NACD, we start with a very comprehensive history. And from the history, we know everything that's going on from birth in terms of anything medical. We know what their diet is. We know what their sleep pattern is. We know what their different behavior issues are. We know what happened educationally with them. We know what they enjoy. We know what they like. And then we meet with the parents and we get more detail. All right. How is Johnny? What does Johnny's day look like? What do you feel about Johnny? Who are his friends? What makes him happy? What makes him unhappy? And then we get into, okay, how does he read? How does he do math? How do these various things function? And not least of all, how does Johnny process information? Sequential processing, short-term memory, working memory, executive function. The complexity of the individual is tremendous. You cannot work with an individual child as a label, even if that label is typical, and provide for them adequately and assist them adequately unless we know who they are. That whole person, that whole child, and that whole child within the context of their family and their community. Having done this for many decades, having worked with specific individuals for many decades, I have kids started off as infants who are in their 30s now that I'm still involved with. And doing that, what you learn in terms of how unique all these people are is incredible. For example, I think of some of my children I work with Down syndrome, who I started working with when they were infants, who are now adults in their 30s. And I could not understand them today without understanding their entire history of that entire child to make recommendations of what we should do tomorrow. Now, what's really important about all this is the only people who have a clue as to that whole child is the parent, right? Our parents are the ones who hopefully know us best. Now, if you will, part of what's happened over the last decades is parents have been diminished. The school systems are almost saying, parents, stay out of the way. You're only going to interfere with this process. We're the experts. We're going to take care of it. If there's any experts on a child, it's the parent. And if there's anyone who should have a vision of where that child's going and being able to coordinate the pieces and put the pieces together, it's the parent. But it's incredibly important. For example, child's going in to see a psychologist and get a psychological workup, take a bunch of tests. And that child didn't sleep well the night before, right? They had a birthday party. Went to a birthday party the day before and had some cake and ice cream, so their diet was all screwed up. All right? They're not going to perform well. Not going to get good data, even on that test. We can have situations where we have a child who has a seizure issue. Child has a seizure. All right. Well, very possibly the neurologist isn't going to talk to the parent. Say, tell me about your child. I want to know what's going on. What are they eating? How are they sleeping? Oh, and they're probably not going to ask, gee, does Johnny have a toothache? All right, which can trigger a seizure faster than almost anything else. All right. You got it. No matter what piece of the child you're working with, you need to have the perspective of the whole child to understand. Right? And again, parents, you need to be not only active participants, but be in charge. Utilize everyone you need to utilize to help you and assist you in helping your child. Okay? But you are the people who need to know your whole child, need to be active participants, and need to be in control to help your child achieve that unique potential that they have.